With .NET 8 and .NET Conf right around the corner, I've been trying to brush up on my skills and learn some new technologies. There's so much happening in the world of .NET, and it's never been easier to learn all from your browser on any device. That's right, you could go just onto your iPhone and just start coding in the browser. It's kind of fantastic. Nothing to install, anything at all. Now, I've done this in the past for building back-end services and playing around with some web stuff, but I never really thought about cloud native development like containers and Docker and Kubernetes. How could I actually do that in the browser? How I've always known to do this is installing Docker Desktop or inside of WSL and then getting a bunch of Docker commands on my machine. And then I got all this images and containers. It's all over the place. Well, what if I told you you can also do that all in the browser and there's a full learning path updated to .NET 8? Well, there is, and I'm going to show you how you can learn cloud native .NET development all in the browser without installing anything. So tune in. Hey everyone, I'm James, and today we're talking about learning cloud native .NET development all in the browser. That's right. Now, I'm not a backend developer. I'm not a cloud native developer, not a web developer. I am a client developer using .NET, but I'm kind of all those things because even my mobile apps and desktop apps need scalable and resilient cloud native backends and apps that I'm building in a sort of a microservice type of way. Now, I'm really excited because .NET Conf is coming up next week, or if maybe you've already watched this, already happens, I'll put links down there to all of the sessions. I know cloud native is going to be a hot topic. In fact, so much that if you just go to the .NET website and tap on cloud, you're going to read all about the awesome things built into .NET for cloud native technology. So, which is really, really exciting. But actually going and learning all this stuff can be complicated. There's great documentation, there's ebooks, there's great samples, there's all this stuff out there. However, what if you just want to get up and learn directly in the browser? Well, you can do it with Microsoft Learn Training. That's right. There's an entire .NET course. I've probably talked about this already to learn just about anything. If you're learning C# and .NET, you can actually get your free Code Camp C# certification this way by taking the learning C# classes on here. And there's also this cloud native microservice.NET and ASP.NET Core learning path as well. And there's a bunch of different things in here, including learning how to build just your first microservice, learning Kubernetes, deploying resilient apps, instrumenting your apps, feature flags, cloud native deployment with CI/CD, all that good stuff. Now, in the past, you had to install Docker and do a bunch of stuff on your machine and pull down the code. Not anymore. These have all been updated to .NET 8, and I actually got to work with the team that was putting this together, and I got to code review these myself, which is super fun. And I'm really excited to show you what's brand new. This is all live happening right now. So let's say you go into the build your first, microservice with .NET. Now, Microsoft Learn, if you've never done it, as long as you're signed in, or I guess you don't even have to be signed in, actually, you're going to start learning right here in the browser. So this is going to tell you kind of what stuff is, and then you do stuff. So for example, here you see what are microservices? Let's build a microservice. What's a microservice orchestration? Let's go do that. And then summary. So you're learning and then doing. Let's just go to the doing. Perfect. All right, cool. So this is really, really neat. Check this out. This exercise of building a Docker file and building your first container, a microservice, is all done completely in a code space. That's right. I've talked about Codespaces in the past. In my previous video, I'll put a link up over there about it, how you can get started building .NET applications with awesome templates and containerize your entire dev environment, which is really cool. But check this out. You can use a pre-configured GitHub Codespace, and then you just start coding. So let me just tap on this link. Oh, let me open it in a new tab. That'd probably be a little bit better. There we go. Perfect. And check this out. Here, this is paid for by me. Now, of course, you get a bunch of Codespace time for free, so it's not actually costing me anything. Here we can see it's using this repo specifically here, Microsoft Docs. There's a main branch. And then it's going to configure one of these default templates. Now, this one here is the Docker one, but there's a feature flags, Kubernetes, and resiliency one, which are used in the other modules too. So let's go ahead and create the code space. Now, what this is doing is inside that repo is it's telling GitHub Codespaces what to use, what extensions to use, how to configure the container and build everything up. Now, this for the first time is going to take, 30, 60 seconds or so. So let's just go ahead and let that container and code space spin up for us automatically. All right, we are all set up over here with our code space. Now, this has been all pre-configured with .NET 8, so we can see things are running over here. C# Dev Kit is here, so we can open that solution if we so desire, which is really nice. And we can see that inside of here, we have our data entities, we have some finished files, products, store, we have a bunch of Docker files that are inside here, which is really cool. And we have all of our dev container configuration. So if you wanted to actually dive a little bit deeper into what's going on here, you could see everything and all the tools that are being installed here, which is very, very cool. So get all that stuff all spun up for you automatically. So this is really, really neat because now we have everything available to us. Now, if we want to, we can of course go into the project and we can start running and debugging this project directly in the code space like I showed in the previous video. However, we want to start doing cloud native-y stuff, right? So if we look inside this application, we have this eShop Lite app. And then we have just like a store. So we have this data entities over here, which is kind of nice. We have this little app that's going to spin up. It's connecting to product endpoints. Over here, it's using HTTPS, anti-forgery, a bunch of stuff going on here, which is really nice. Has products as well. So this is another project inside here. So we have a back end and a front end, a little database with all of our different products and data entities that are coming in. So we can take a look at that product using Entity Framework, which is really, really cool. And we can also see in our ports tab down here that we have 2 ports that have been forwarded. So that's really neat, automatically set up for us. And that was configured up here. If I go back into that dev container configuration, we can see down here with these 2 ports that are configured. And then we have the labeling here, which is kind of really nice. Okay, so we have this set up and we're kind of ready to go. What do we need to do next? Well, if we actually take a look at the Learn module, it's going to walk us through setting up this Docker file. This here is going to pull the .NET 8 image. This is going to set the working directory. It's going to copy this project into the working directory. It's going to do a .NET restore. It's going to copy some things over, and then it's going to do a .NET publish release build. And then what we're going to do down here is we're going to, again, not only like we have our data entities, we have our products, and it's going to do the same thing. So we're going to basically build up both projects and get them going. And then finally, what we're going to do at the bottom here is we're going to, again, pull that image. We're going to set the working directory to the app. We're going to expose some ports. We're going to copy it. And then we're going to create our entry point into our products, which is cool. At the end of the day, we're going to actually build up our Docker container over here with this Docker command and that file that we've specified. So let's go ahead and open up what it says here is the Docker file products. So if I go back into my projects over here, I have my Docker file products, which is nice. The store is already set up for me. I have my products here. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy in some of this code. So again, first, this is going to pull and then get the data entities there. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and copy the next line in here, which is the products that are required there. And then finally, we are going to go ahead and at this point, get that products DLL. So we already have our store, but now we have our data entities, which the products are using in the back end. And then we have our products there, which is cool. All right, so now what we need to do is go into our terminal. So this is kind of cool. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a cd .NET Docker right there. So that's going to go into that folder. So again, we have multiple projects in here. So now we just have this here. I'm just going to go ahead and run that command. So I'm just going to copy and paste it here into the terminal. So this is saying Docker build the products backend for the tag, and then use this file, Docker file products. So it's going to go off. It's going to pull everything that I just showed you. So it's going to pull that configuration, the Docker image, all this stuff, and it's going to build up our container right here, which is really cool. So again, this is going to take a few seconds here as it kind of builds up. Just like we were building our dev container for Codespaces, this is now going to build our container for our application. All right, cool. It's all built up. That was actually pretty quick. And now all I got to do is say Docker images here. And what we can see, I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit more for us over here. Boop, there we go. Is that if I go ahead and open this up, we have this latest tag, everything happening over here right inside of our Codespace, which is cool. So I have this latest tag, the products backend, everything that I need. So this is pretty cool. So now all I got to do is just run it. So I'm just going to copy the command that is over inside of that Learn module. So this is going to say Docker run. It's going to pass it some commands, and then it's going to start running it. Basically, it's going to run our application inside of the container inside of Docker, which is really nice. Now at this point, this is running. You can see that we're actually running it over here. It's listening. And if you noticed previously, we talked about the ports that were forwarded. This is pre-configured, and in the Learn module, you learn all about this, is that the back end here is running. So we can see that this port is active. It has a running process, and I can just open this in the browser. Now this is going to basically do port forwarding. We can see that nothing has been found here because this is the backend API. If I add an API/product in there, this is going to now return all of those products back to us automatically that were coming in from it, which is really, really cool. All right, so we just started our cloud native adventure at this point. We've built our very first container inside of a Codespace. Didn't have to install anything. We got it running inside of Docker, which is like really, really cool. So we've started to build the back end. Now, I'm not gonna do the rest of the Learn module because I want you to do it. Head over to the links that I put below, and now you'll learn about how to actually create a Docker Compose, which is going to bundle up the front end and the back end, configure them to talk together, and they're all going to be running inside of the Codespace. And then there's so much more that you can do. In fact, learning about Kubernetes, resiliency, deployment, and so much more. Anyways, I just really think this is a cool piece of technology that has been coming out. I talked about Codespace before, but actually learning inside the browser, not having to do anything. You can be on your iPad, right? You can be on an Android tablet. You can be on your phone learning this, which is really neat. Let me know what you think of education inside the browser, inside of Codespaces, getting set up in minutes to start learning without having to install anything. I think that this is really the future of education, and also beyond education. I just want to code like this. I don't want to have to install a bunch of stuff just to go try out a new project or just be super productive. And then of course, the cool part is that I can always connect to it from VS Code as well, which is neat. All right, well, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think. Check out the links below, and I'll see y'all soon. And don't forget, .NET Conf happening, so check out those links below too, and join in live for all the .NET 8 goodness. All right, peace.